Hi guys, welcome back to the channel today. Now there has been a little bit of a spat in the gaming world between Tim Sweeney, the CEO of Epic Games, and Steam. He has spoke out about them labeling AI in games, and they're putting a disclosure on all the games that do include AI. Now we'll cover all that, and we'll cover my opinions on the pros and cons of AI. We are living in an AI boom type world, and we're going to get right into the video, and let's get at it. I can see why Tim Sweeney likes his AI slop so much. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of Fortnite and Rocket League and stuff like that. But when you do these free-to-play games that you can add in skins and all these calling cards, trinkets, and all this horse shit, these guys love AI because they can simply type in a little phrase and make an AI calling card, some skin stuff. It's very easy for them. It saves them a ton of money. And they're basically making tons of money for free at this point on these games. That's just my personal opinion. I find them very just bland, watered down. They're not something I'm very interested in. They're more geared towards kids, in my opinion. Now, that being said, we'll jump into this PC Gamer article. Epic boss Tim Sweeney thinks stores like Steam should stop labeling games as being made with AI. It makes no sense, he says, because AI will be involved in nearly all future production. The article goes on to say, look at any number of Steam store pages, ARC Raiders for instance, and you'll see a fairly prominent AI-generated content disclosure laying out which parts of the game makes use of AI content. Go to the Epic Games Store, however, and you'll see nothing of the sort, and that's the difference that's not likely to change, for one simple reason. Epic boss Tim Sweeney thinks AI disclosures are a waste of time. The AI tag is relevant to art exhibits for authorship disclosure, and to digital content licensing marketplaces where buyers need to understand the right situation. Sweeney wrote on X via Games Radar, agreeing with a user who called for Steam and other digital storefronts to eliminate the Gen AI labeling. It makes no sense for game stores where AI will be involved in nearly all future production. Okay, yes, it's going to be involved in most games, guys. There's no real stopping it at this point unless there's a huge revolt in the gaming industry, which there won't be. Now, my thing on this is, I personally would like to know if AI is used a ton in some of these games because it does turn me off on a lot of things. Now, I personally don't mind if they use AI to, generate some background stuff and then build upon it with human creativity and design. But if you're building a game basically with nothing but AI, that's just going to be a non-starter for me. It'd have to be something really special that comes out. And from what I've seen from AI at this point, I don't see that happening. And there's a lot of consumers like me that simply want that human built experience, and we don't want AI. Now, if you have a different opinion on that, that's cool too, and I don't mind that. But I know myself, if I'm surfing YouTube, TikTok, Facebook Reels, you're constantly inundated with AI generated material, and you can totally tell when you start playing it. It's lifeless, it's soulless, it's just not the same. It's very stark. AI is just not quite there for building a true creative human experience yet. And personally, I don't know why Tim Sweeney cares so much. I believe the consumer deserves to know if AI is in the game. I really don't see a problem with putting a disclaimer up like Steam does. So I'll just give you guys a quick rundown of the Steam disclaimer. I'm not going to go through the whole thing here, but it does say, pre-generated is any kind of art, code, sound created with the help of AI tools during development. Under the Steam distribution agreement, you promise Valve that your game will not include illegal or infringing content and that your game will be consistent with your marketing materials. In our pre-release review, we will evaluate the output of AI-generated content in your game the same way we evaluate all non-AI content, including a check that the game meets those promises. Live-generated content. Any kind of content created with the help of AI tools while the game is running. In addition to following the same rules as pre-generated AI content, this comes with an additional requirement. In the content survey, you need to tell us what kind of guardrails you're putting your AI in to ensure that it's not generating illegal content. So Steam's just trying to cover their butt in this stuff, guys. And you know yourself, some games will come out and bomb, and Steam will get inundated with a bunch of refunds and stuff. And I feel that with them doing this and putting this forward in the way that they are, they can kind of cover themselves and say, hey, look at the game is full of this AI slop, as they call it, and we're letting you know that this game is full of AI before you purchase it, and then you know, going into it what you're gonna get. And again, I don't mind them using AI as a tool to help them create better games. My problem is when AI basically dominates the entire game. So key takeaways from this would be job loss. You know, the creative aspect has just gone out of the window here. The quality of the games have been going down, in my opinion. In the past 5 years, they've really taken a nosedive. And I think if you've played a lot of these high-end games or AAA ones, you will notice that the quality of writing, the soundtracks, everything has taken a hit, other than, I would say, some of the graphical quality. So that tells me that they're really focusing on the AI aspect of it, and the human element, they're just not too worried about it as much anymore. I honestly don't know who's making these choices at these studios, because to me, I'm using AI to enhance my game. I'm using it to help my employees with, you know, the tedious tasks of, you know, populating these giant worlds with some trees and rocks and flowers and landscapes. And then you have your guys go in after the fact and, you know, move all that stuff around, you know, add some more stuff and just make it a really fleshed out world. I really don't think that's what they're doing in this case, guys. For the most part, I really don't think they're using it in this manner. I really believe they're just using it to hyper monetize the games with loot boxes, skins, calling cards, all this sort of thing. You know, when loot boxes and all this stuff was running really rampant, people did make a stand. A lot of people spoke out about it and people quit buying this stuff. And that's what people really need to do, is just not support it, guys. Now, with the game industry being hijacked by these megacorps, you know, Microsoft buying Activision, you know, Sony's buying up studios constantly, EA got sold, Ubisoft's being sold. All of these corporations, they just want to get as much slop and monetize stuff out as much as they can. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. AI does have a place, guys. There are lots of good tools you can use it for. You know, debugging, playtesting, all this sort of thing. You can use it to enhance the way the NPCs react with the world and that. And I'm not totally against AI or anything like that. I just think that it's moved too fast, too far, in a short amount of time, in my opinion. And that's how I see it for most of these games. Now, there are a big catalog of games that have used AI. They've been very successful, and they've put it in a way that you don't really notice that they're using it, but they're using it in the correct way. You know, games like Alien Isolation, Shadow of Mordor, Fear, Left 4 Dead, Red Dead Redemption 2, The Sims, all these games used AI in what I would call a discreet and great way, where the NPCs, you know, they feel alive, or your squad mates feel like they're real human beings, that, you know, they perform like they are a real soldier. Or you have a game like Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, which has a nemesis system. It makes all the orcs have kind of a different personality with strengths and weaknesses, and the enemies remember their encounter and can adjust. And again, a lot of these larger games like this, when they do use it in this manner to enhance the game and the experience and make the world feel alive, I'm totally fine with that, and I think it's awesome. It's mostly, for me, when the companies, they just mail it in. They're using it to make, you know, skins, loot boxes and shit. It kind of reminds me of all this NFT silliness that was going on with, like, the Pauls and all these boneheads selling all these meatheads NFTs. And no offense if you got sucked into that or buy stuff like that. I'm just not into that. And it's something I find really stupid, like paying money for basically what I would call digital nothingness. It really has no value to me. I don't even really like crypto and stuff like that because of that. I think it's just a false way of moving money around, if it makes any sense. I don't want to get too crazy with that stuff, but it never really made a lot of sense to me. I understand why people do it. I find it's like a form of gambling, and that kind of circles around to the loot boxes and all that kind of stuff, which I really don't like. If you're going to use it correctly. You know, something like Red Dead Redemption 2, which I would say is pretty much like a gaming masterpiece if there is one. Again, for the NPCs and the animals, the memory systems, all that sort of thing, they did it absolutely wonderful in that. Really, hopefully GTA 6 follows suit. If they ever do make another Red Dead Redemption, I hope it would be the same. Now, to me, guys, the gaming industry has been hijacked by these megacorps. Epic Games is no different here. You know, being in charge of Fortnite, Rocket League, and they have some other great IPs, you know, Unreal. Obviously, Xbox owns a Gears of War, but Epic made that for them. They have the Unreal Engine. So basically, limitless money. I can see Tim's point of view here. He wants to use AI. He doesn't want to be checked for that, and it is what it is. And then you have Gabe's point of view with Steam, where, you know, I would say Gabe is more of a gamer type, a little bit more down to earth, even though he's very eccentric and super rich. But just two different opposing point of views here. I have to... Sorry, our old dog was having a fit here. As I was saying, two different points of view here, guys. I have to side with Gabe here. I just think that there's nothing wrong with being transparent, giving full disclosure to people that are buying your product. I really don't see why Tim should even open his mouth about this. Let the people know what's in the game. Make an informed decision, and if they want to buy it, they will if it's good. And if it's shit, then they won't buy it. It's as simple as that. Now, this is not going to be a super long video, guys. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of AI too much. It feels like it's infecting every part of our lives at this point, what really sucks. If I could go back to 10, 20 years ago, I probably would just live a bit of a simpler life without this stuff. It is what it is. Can't do that. I appreciate you guys sticking around. Everyone have an awesome Christmas season. I cannot wait to have some time with my family and just enjoy that. I probably will not be uploading a whole bunch during the next 3 weeks. I'm probably going to be a little bit more chill with it, and then January we'll start back trying to do a little bit more. So I try to do a few videos a week for you guys, and I hope you are liking the content. If you have anything to add, please let me know in the comments below. As always, like, subscribe. I hope everyone's having an awesome day, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.